The first video of today is about a rule called the zero product property. And this is a really important rule that helps us do something with quadratics. But let's make sure we understand this rule first. And here's what the rule says. It says if a times b equals 0, and remember these could just represent any numbers that we don't know, but if two numbers are multiplied and they equal 0, then here's what we know. Okay, right? And you might want to just pause for a second and think, like, what do I know if two numbers multiply and equal 0? Well, the only way two numbers multiply and equal 0 is if one of them is 0. So either a equals 0, or b equals 0, or another possibility is they both equal 0. Okay, so that is what the zero product property says. It's that simple. That's all the rule says. So let's just talk really quick about a couple examples of how it comes up and what the possibilities are, because it's really important that you kind of thoroughly understand this rule before we move on to the next thing. So let's say here we have two numbers, they're being multiplied together. Okay, here we have two numbers being multiplied together, here we have two numbers being multiplied together. They look different, but this means the same. So let's say we know that m times n equals 0. Here are the possibilities, right? M could equal 0, and n could equal some other number, like, I don't know, just make one up, 14, right? Another possibility is that m could equal some random number, like negative 25.2, right? It doesn't matter what m is, and n could equal 0, because 0 times anything is just 0, right? So if these two numbers are going to multiply, these are both possibilities. Another possibility is that m equals 0 and n equals 0. Right? So those are all possibilities. Let's just do one more example and kind of talk about it in words, because you're just going to see as we get deeper into this that really sort of thoroughly understanding this and seeing it over and over again is going to be kind of a big benefit here, right? So again, if we have r times s, again, these are just numbers we don't know. R, here's one possibility, r is 0 and s is not 0. And then notice I'm really doing the same thing I did here. I'm just kind of doing it in words instead of using math symbols, right? I could say r is not 0 and s is 0. Or I could say, here's another possibility, r and s are both 0. Okay? And here's where we get to the really good stuff, is if we have something like this. So here in the parentheses, I just had a number. And here in these parentheses, I'm going to put a binomial and another binomial. Okay, but the rules are still the same, right? Because yes, this is like an expression, but it's also still a number, right? Like let's say x is 5, then this is still just the number 6. It's still just a number, just the same way this is a number, the m. So, and this is also just a number. So this is a number times a number equals 0. So what does this mean? Well, this means that either, right, if this times this equals 0, that either x plus 1 equals 0, or 3x minus 7 equals 0. That's what it means, okay? Now, could they both equal 0? Actually, no in this case, right? Because in order for x plus 1 to equal 0, x would have to be negative 1. But if x is negative 1 over here, that doesn't make this expression equal 0. So these actually can't both be true at the same time, right? If this expression is equal to 0, x is going to have some value, and if this expression is going to be equal to 0, x is going to have some value. They can't both be equal to 0 at the same time, right? But one of them has to be. But all of this is the zero product property, and these are all just different examples of how it works.